Okay, so I'm going to do a radio replacement. I took the stereo out of my pickup and put back the factory one because I'm going to sell this truck. So the first step is going to be removing the bezel and getting this head unit out. I did order what I assume is supposed to be the correct wiring harness for this van. So before I get too carried away, I'm going to make sure that this is the right plug because I don't want to cut wires. And once I verify that, then I will merge the factory harness connector to my stereo and make sure that's all good, and then we'll start installing that. I also did get the speakers, so I'll be upgrading the tweeter and the door speaker, and I'll be running some wire up the A-pillars up to the overhead, so I can put some speakers up there for the rear. So first thing I'm going to do is get my tool out of the little bag here. We got these little pry tools so we can pop this off. So this outer bezel around the stereo just pops off, and then there's I think they said 7 screws that hold this unit in, so we'll see. All right, so we got that all popped off. It's just sitting here hanging now. I'm going to disconnect the one group of wire here, and that way I can set the bezel out of the way. This way, if I decide to drive the van with the stereo disconnected, I don't have this thing banging into me. So we're just going to remove the one wiring harness and then set this bezel aside. All right, so for me, this ended up being a T25, and they're not even tight. I can actually just loosen that. That was loose. Yeah, it looks like either just from rattling around it's come loose, or somebody had the stereo out at some point and didn't tighten everything back up. I don't know if I need to take out the control panel yet. I won't know until I start fitting things, but we'll go ahead and get those 4 screws out of there, and we'll see what the plug looks like. That way we can pull the stereo out. All right, so got the screws out. Unless you use a magnet to pull the screws out, I recommend just pulling the face plate a little bit forward, and then you can pull each of the screws out. I started with the bottom and then until I got the front out. But this is what the back looks like. I've got 2 wires. Not sure what these are. One's probably for the antenna. Well, one is for the antenna, and one is for possibly GPS antenna. They are different thicknesses. I can't really see down inside there. So, but this is our plug. It does look a little different than the one I have. So we'll verify this real quick and make sure. I know there's something weird about the center speaker deal, so let me get the plug apart and then we'll test it to the one I have. All right, so these were fairly straightforward. You just pinch that clip, get it back as far, and then you can lift straight up. Same on the black one. But this is the clip. This is a 2016 Freightliner Sprinter Mercedes-Benz. This is the plug, and this is the plug I was recommended to be the adapter. Yeah, that's not the right one. So we'll need to be returning this and figuring out this. So I'm gonna get a good picture of this, because it doesn't look like you take that apart to fit it, because these here on this side in the black are actually in this housing. These other ones you could probably take out, but still they don't look right. All right, so I'm gonna find out what housing or wires I need, and then I'll come back. I may come back and do the speakers, because that will at least get me that far, but you definitely need to figure out the correct harness. All right, so The video I had watched said that this was the correct part number for my Sprinter van's wiring. This is not. This is a square plug. It does not work with my particular Sprinter. I've got a 2016 freightliner Sprinter. I'm not sure if it matters one way or the other, but so I went on to Crushfield's website. They had 3 different models. My van is very basic. No steering wheel controls, no backup camera, no GPS, no nothing. It's just straight a stereo with hands-free. So I contacted Crutchfield directly, and this was the one that they recommended. It's $95. This looks like my plug. From what I was told, it comes with both of these harnesses, but I won't be using this one because I don't have all the accessories. So this little plug plugs into these 2 wires, and then it allows the chime or beep or whatever. And the part number for this, if I can get up there, oops, is that. But while I was Googling to try to find a harness, I came across this one, which is the exact same pretty much. It's just made by a different company. Let's see, where's their part number? It's basically the same part number with a dash. And they got a picture of the plugs here. This is the plug that I have in my particular van. So that's what we're going to go with. And Amazon has them for $60. Regretfully, it's a week out. So I'm going to go ahead and order this one up. And hopefully that solves my problem. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put in the speakers that I got, get those all wired in. I mean, this is super simple. It's a couple of plugs and a switch, so I can actually enjoy my new speakers with the stock stereo until the harness comes in and swap it back. So that's what we're going to do. Oops. All right. Thanks for watching. All right. So because my van is the base model, I only have left and right channel speakers. That's these 4 wires in that brown tab. So, and I'm not sure how they're hooked into the center speaker. So, and I'm going to run a crossover so that I actually have true mids and tweets, and then I'm going to run a set of speakers in the back. So I am disassembling the dash so that I can run wires everywhere. So far I've taken off the 2 gray pieces that are on both sides. There's a couple of screws, and then there's a few clips, and then for the tray that I had here, there were some screws back here, and so that's off. And I've gotten the 2 screws out on this corner and the 2 screws out on this corner, and this should come right out, sort of. All right, and now I think I should have some room to run the wire over here for the speaker. So, and this is broke, I think. Yeah, it's got a broken tab right there. So I've got a broken vent and a broken tab on this. This is always popping up when we're driving. So I might go online and see if I can order those up since I'm gonna have this apart. But yeah, that's where we're at. So I don't know how much more I'm gonna have to disassemble, because it looks like this screw doesn't seem to hold anything up here, but there is this nice little track. So if I could I'd like to run the wire under this metal bar and back in here. I was hoping that there would be some way for me to reach that. We will see. I don't know how we get down to that without really tearing this thing apart. So yeah, we're gonna have to try to figure out where to run that wire, because we definitely want to run 2 wires to this side, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the splitter down there. There's plenty of room for it. There's for both of them. I'll probably put some sort of padding around them so they don't rattle. But yeah, behind down here in the speaker, in this whole cavity, there's plenty of room, so I can run the crossover down there and then run just 2 sets of wires, one to the tweeter, one to this door speaker. So we'll figure this out real quick. Okay, so I think what I can do is I can drop the wire down from the inside, go behind the glove compartment over the AC stuff, and I can reach this boot just right here by fishing my hand right here, and I should be able to fish a wire up to here. I don't know how this airbag comes out. There are 2 bolts right here. Maybe that's all that's holding it in, because that seems like this cover is connected to it, and I don't want to yank on it too hard. But yeah, if I should be able to fish the wires through here fairly easy. The hardest one will be this one here, so I just have to figure out where that wire runs, and then we'll go from there. And then on the driver's side, I don't know how. I'll probably have to take some of the dash part to do the same thing. And then I can run the 2 speakers that I'm going to put up top, up the A-pillar. I'll drop the shelf so I can run it behind and probably up into that corner somewhere. We'll have to see. All right. So, yeah, this is actually turning into a little bit more project than I expected. I kind of assumed I could just reuse all the stock wiring. And I probably could, but my concern is that other speaker. I know it's connected to some chimes and some other stuff, and I don't know if by running the crossover I would have to like install it in this door and then still fish a wire back up. And I would rather have good speaker wire to the doors, and just so we can bypass all of the Mercedes stuff. So all right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for a couple of parts to come in for finish putting the stereo in anyway. I've been wiring up the wiring loom. What I did was, because I don't want to cut this up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to de-pin these 4 wires, and then I ordered another set of pigtails that I will replace these with the new set, and then it'll just be a separate little harness that I'll have. I could just come straight off the stereo, but I want it clean so that it connects into all of this and looks nicer. But I guess that's just me. All right, as you can see, I'm starting to stockpile some plastics. I am going to order a vent, if I can, for the driver's side, because one of the fins is broken. I was hoping it was just popped out of place, but it's actually broken. And then I need to order this vent up here, so I'm gonna get on that real quick too. All right, so I am trying to get this door cover off. I ended up scratching up my door card pretty good. I got some picks to try to pop these things off. I couldn't get them off. And what I ended up doing, I'd seen somebody else do, I just drilled into the center of them and pulled them out. It's easier to replace the plug than get all these scratches off. I mean, it's not major, but... So I want to get this door card off so I can get to the speaker, so I can start putting in the new speakers and then putting everything back together. I'm still waiting for the USB adapter to come in. I've got a couple other pieces that I want to come in. And then I got to go over on the other side so I can run the wires up to the thing up there. So yeah, door first, but basically I'm sure there's tons of videos already out there, but you've got 2, 3, 4, there's 6 screws, so you gotta definitely pop this cover off of this. So I'm gonna get these out. I already got one out. I'm gonna get the other 5. All right, so I got the door card off. I've got a couple of these that stayed in the door. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily I have a whole kit, so hopefully I can pop some new ones in there. As long as they didn't break the little things. Nope, they don't look broke. They just look like they came out. Should have enough to replace those, I think. So yeah. So I was going to initially reuse this stock speaker wire. The only problem is I don't know if there's a crossover. I have yet to be able to hunt that down, whether or not there's a crossover that splits these two speakers on the sides, or if they're just wired together somewhere. So what I'm going to end up doing is wiring from new wires from the new stereo into the doors to my new speakers in with crossovers. I'll probably put the crossover here. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So I can either stick it behind the stereo, which is my original plan, or I notice there's a big pocket right here, which means that I'd only have to run a short lead. It doesn't really matter, I guess. So we'll see. I'm gotta get the speaker out, and then we will figure out what we're gonna do. Wow, these are some really small magnets. I mean, the magnet on this is almost the same size as the tweeters that I'm going to be putting in. That's just ridiculously how small that is. So we will see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to figure out if I can get my speakers in here, if I'm going to need to 3D print a new adapter, what I'm going to do.